Hey everyone, let's take a look at a quick one, number 11 in section 10.1. We're looking at the limit of this sequence whose general term is -1 to the n over the square root of 11n. So notice the terms of this sequence alternate, right? When n is 1, I get -1 over the square root of 11. When n is 2, I get +1 over the square root of 22, and so on, negative, positive, negative, positive. However, we can look at this a couple of ways. Because this numerator is either -1 or +1, our nth term is always bounded between -1 over the square root of 11n and +1 over the square root of 11 over n. So it's squeezed in between these two values for all values of n greater than 1, greater than or equal to 1. And also the limit as n goes to infinity of each of these is quite clear, right? This is going to go to 0, right? As n goes to infinity, this will be 1 or -1 in this case over infinity. This would be 1 over infinity, something approaching infinity. So both of those are going to 0. And since our function is bounded by those two, and I say function, of course, we're passing a real valued function through the points of our sequence. So we're calling it, say, f of x. So where f of n is equal to a sub n, we just basically are using that idea. But by the squeeze theorem, then, since our terms of our sequence are squeezed in between these two, and both limits are 0, the limit of our sequence is also 0. Another way of doing this, of course, from the squeeze theorem, we proved the theorem that if the limit of the absolute value of the terms of the sequence is 0, then the limit of the sequence is 0. And that's exactly the case. If I take the absolute value of our sequence, remember we had that sign changer, plus or minus 1. Well, the absolute value of that is always 1. And of course, this is going to 0. And so also, essentially by the squeeze theorem, because that's how we proved this theorem, since the absolute value of the terms is going to 0, the limit of our sequence is going to 0. Notice this only works if the absolute value is going to 0. If it goes to anything other than 0, then then our sequence is actually going to be divergent. Okay, hope this is helpful.